Hey guys, we've got a new week of astrology to get into. This week is coming to us with a bang. This is probably the, I would say, second most explosive week of the year. The first, obviously, was the Mars-Uranus conjunction we had happen in July. We saw the firepower associated with that. This week, we have Mars and Jupiter, the planet of expansion, coming into an exact alignment. Normally, Mars and Jupiter coming together, this happens once every 2 years. This is going to be a time of very high energy levels and, a time where we are generally successful in our actions and whatever we've got going on. A time of some positive and productive, like exponential growth. But the thing is that makes this Mars-Jupiter conjunction a little bit different is that it's being squared almost exactly by Saturn, which limits, controls, restrains, holds things down, hold things back. And in the particular context of the energy right now, there could be a lot of frustrations. There could be a lot of delays. A lot of people are probably going to be at their breaking point, feeling like they don't have much to lose and ready to sort of like unleash. This is probably going to be bringing some things to a boiling point. I would expect some pretty serious clashes going on, especially between like the past and the future, or like older and younger versions of things, vying for power, vying for control, vying for, who's going to be leading the way moving forward. Very volatile, sort of eruptive, explosive energy right now. Things are probably a bit delicate out there. I would definitely proceed with caution as we move through the week this week. And we've got a lot to talk about in our report today, opening the week, all week long, really. Let's get into it then. Let's sort of piece all of this together, talk about what aspects we have going on to open our week as we head towards this exact alignment that is coming in on Wednesday. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, August 12th, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me until the end of this report, I have done a collective tarot card reading for us today as well. I like to tap the energy from more than one modality whenever I'm doing these energy overviews, just to get an alternative energetic perspective on what's going on out there. So that's going to be at the end. We're going to start at the beginning with the astrology, and something could definitely blow up this week, you guys. Literally, metaphorically, could be also quite mind-blowing in nature. As I said, I do feel like this is probably the second most kind of like explosive, eruptive, like delicate period of time that we have had go on this summer, and perhaps throughout the course of this entire year of 2024. The first, obviously, was the big Mars-Uranus conjunction that we just had, where we saw some explosive events transpire. This energy right now is also kind of giving some of the same vibes that was, although it's in a slightly different way. Now, it's, necessary, although momentarily perhaps, I don't, it feels sort of unfortunate, but I know that it's for a necessary higher reason when we pull out and look at like the overall picture of things, like that this would be going on. But it's just interesting because Mars and Jupiter only come together once every 2 years. And so the aspect that we have coming into alignment this week, where we have our energy levels like so amplified in a positive way, in like an exponential growth type of way because of the Jupiterian influence, this only gets an opportunity to happen once every couple of years. And in the sign of, Gemini, in any particular sign, that makes the cycle even way longer, because I don't know when another Mars-Jupiter conjunction in Gemini is gonna happen. And because Jupiter will move through Gemini and will change signs by the next time that their conjunction happens. So that's an even longer cycle. And Jupiter in Gemini is all about expanding our mind. And when we put Mars there, this is expanding our mind, expanding our skill sets, helping us to see the bigger picture and to have like a broader perspective through which we are operating within, in the context of our actions and our behaviors, and what is motivating our actions and behaviors. So it's really a time of some like exponential personal growth. That is what Jupiter transiting through Gemini with Mars on its higher octaves is bringing to us. And Jupiter is also the great benefic. It's like good fortune and success and like things going well, and it brings blessings and like hope and faith and trust that is reinforced by the good things that are happening around us and our successes and stuff like that. But again, it feels a bit unfortunate that this particular opportunity that we have with that energy right now is simultaneously exactly like 1 degree off, very, very tightly being squared by Saturn. Now, again, on this channel, you guys, we're narrating the shift of the ages, so we're looking at things in the greater context of like the cosmic evolutionary path that we move through right now, and the transitional process that we are in as we move from the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius, and how the aspects that are activating and, you know, going on now are contributing to that process on an energetic level that will then translate into what's happening on a physical level. So, you know, we know that there's this bigger cosmic story that is unfolding, and in the context of that, it makes a lot of sense that this generally, you know, what would be quite a positive and productive aspect would be being squared by Saturn, and like it's just making it a lot more challenging to get to that place of growth generally. But and we're going to talk all about how this energy is likely to be manifesting and stuff. I feel like I'm getting a little bit caught up in my words trying to describe this, but that is also the way this energy is functioning. It is probably going to be like a lot more difficult to like explain things or to think things through or to communicate a message or to just like have a clear understanding of something when we've got this square 90-degree aspect going on between Mars and Jupiter in the sign about communication and the flow of information stuff that is trying to expand and move forward, but it's being hit from the side by Saturn in Pisces, which is like weighing things down and holding things back and distorting reality and distorting the truth and bringing blockage and bringing interference and bringing up like these issues within ourselves and our own belief systems that are interfering with like the new ideas that are coming and trying to open the way and pull us forward right now. So it's kind of like this period of interference where it kind of should be a period of exponential growth, and then the frustrations that are presented as a result of exponential growth being restrained and limited and interfered with. But in the greater context of things, it's because we are literally birthing a new paradigm right now. Like we are laying the foundations for the new generations and the new legacies that are going to define the beginning of the age of Aquarius coming in now. So it's like everything that is being done, all the growth that is happening, all the forward progress, the forward momentum, all of the, you know, paving the way and moving forward and blazing a trail and like all of that, all of the new growth that is happening now, it has to be done like so rigorously and so carefully and so like double and triple checked, and like it had like in like, you know, 1 step forward and 2 steps backwards, or 2 steps forward and 1 step. I always get confused on the way that you're supposed to say that particular saying, but that concept, you know what I mean? Like it's a slow, gradual, like painstaking process of like laying every brick perfectly so that it, like on an energetic level, so that the foundation is sturdy and stable, that it is paving the way, or like that this new world, this new paradigm, this new energetic reality that we're moving towards right now is going to be built upon. So like everything is needing to be done very like intricately, and it's needing to be done right, and we can't just like launch forward and move ahead. So it makes sense that we would have to be going through this test period. And we are also simultaneously, as we transition ages, there's a lot of karmic ties that we need to break, and karmic patterns and subconscious programming, generational karma, just cycles generally that we have been caught up in that are resulting from belief systems maybe that we are also in the process right now of being released from, with the Saturn retrograding in the sign of Pisces. In a lot of ways, this energy, you know, microcosm, macrocosm, one of the root issues of a lot of the frustrations stemming or coming into our experience right now are going to be stemming from this contradiction that is going on within us based in old belief systems, and what, you know, the possibilities for experience associated with them, and like these new ideas and the new perspectives that are coming in now, and how those are clashing and manifesting in terms of the blockages and interference that we're experiencing in, you know, whatever's playing out around us. Of course, with Saturn there, this could also be literally like rules or authority or issues with like bosses or like people in positions of power and stuff like that, that, you know, there's some type of imbalance in the way that energy is moving and like the pressure that they're putting on it. This could be kind of like a very overwhelming time as well. And the ultimate outcome, I think, of a lot of what goes on right now will be some type of sobering effect or impact that does trigger some type of like maturation process, personal maturation process somehow, or things advancing or developing or progressing in a more serious or mature or realistic or sober or refined way somehow. This is bringing situations that are going to force us to grow up somehow, or to just take things more seriously, to be more responsible. And also the week is definitely primed for conflict, right? Polarization, contrast, division. Two sides that are really going at it. This is most likely to manifest in terms of like an older and a younger version of things, like I had mentioned earlier, fights between the new and the old, like generational battles going on, the past and the future, even like father, son, master and apprentice, like the soldier and the general, that type of vibe that we have going on, because Mars rules the youthful energy. This is like the soldier, this is the warrior, this is youthful energy. In Saturn, this is the general, this is the authority, this is the rule maker, this is the control, this is the higher up. So when we've got them in this 90-degree angle, in Saturn also, Mars, like I said, this is youth. In Saturn, this is older, more mature thing. So when we put these two things in a square, it is bringing a conflict between a younger version and an older version. The energy that is trying to grow something new, and the energy that is trying to maintain the way that things have been. All right, so we could see contrast, we could see conflict, and again, this could be coming up within us as well in terms of the essentially beliefs that we had always held for ourselves in terms of what we thought was possible, and maybe something new that we're learning, or some new information, or a new experience, or a situation that we're being put in that, you know, we're being maybe forced to look in another direction, or, you know, see things from a different perspective, and the conflict that that can bring up internally, and the frustrations that that can produce as well. So these are things, this is energy that's going to be operating internally. Remember, we've also got Mercury retrograde right now. Mercury rules the position where Mars and Jupiter are coming into their conjunction. So a lot of this energy is going to be internalized. Saturn is also retrograde right now. So a lot of frustrations. Do not be a vessel for this energy. The beautiful thing about this energy, the flip side of this energy, Mars and Saturn in any aspect together, when they're operating out of their higher octaves, yeah, there might be a challenge. Yeah, we might have hurdles, and it might take endurance and willpower and test us on every level, but it's master builder energy, especially with Jupiter there. This is like promised successful outcomes. This is like masterfully building whatever foundations that we're laying right now. The problem is it's just not happening in a timely manner, and all of the impulse right now is for things to get moving, and things to move forward, and things to move ahead. And so if you're feeling like very frustrated, or very, you know, just dealing with this, especially if it's more internalized, the best way, first of all, try to be active. With Mars and Jupiter there, like moving the body, being physically active is a very good way to deal with this energy. We don't want to, you know, be just sitting there and letting it percolate and stir within us. It's going to like erupt or explode somehow, most likely. However, the most productive use of this energy is in being productive. It is in setting ourselves up for a future success that is promised. Like I said, the success here is going to come. Like, it's not that, you know, it's being taken from us. It's just that we're having to do it in a way that is setting us up actually for something better, something stronger, something that is going to like serve the test of time, you know what I mean, moving forward. And it's going to be successful, and it's going to go well, but we've just got to be able to deal with and surrender to the process that is unfolding right now, and the speed that things are moving right now. And we can't lose faith. We can't give up on ourselves just because we might be experiencing something that feels more like a failure than a success as we move through this this period of time. Corrections are required. Like, we need to like reorganize things. We need to refine our systems. And there's also a major missing piece of information that we are going to gain through the month of August somehow, that is going to assist us in whatever it is that we're actually moving towards and might be being frustrated by. at this point in time. So, you know, whatever we can do, the small ways that we can be productive, the small ways that we can like contribute to our own personal growth, even if it's detached or separated from what we really want to be doing right now. As I've been saying, like finding joy and taking pride in like the small victories that we do have available to us, like distracting ourselves with hobbies. This is also all about developing our skills, expanding our talent stacks, learning new things that will ultimately be like vital pieces of information to support whatever that future success that is trying to make its way to us right now will ultimately require. So that's what we're doing right now, and it's likely to just have people kind of like a bit on edge. This is also, I mean, there's a very kind of I don't know, like stressful or just difficult informational component that could come with a lot of this, like a forced realization that is unwanted or impractical that we're having to deal with. A lot of people are going to be struggling with mental health and like cognitive dissonance issues, harsh truths that we didn't want to know, but like now we know we can't unknow, and therefore this inherent conflict that is created, or this division that is created as a result of that, leading to some type of lasting change. As I said, you know, the primary rivalry here is likely to be between past and future versions of things, past beliefs, rules, traditions, control systems, financial systems. There could be a very financial element to what's going on here as well, especially in terms of deals, investments, transactions, and stuff like that. There could be issues with banking systems and stuff like that too. With the Mercury retrograde and the square to Saturn, there could be blocked transactions, blocked communication, like an inability to like give or receive the flow of money coming up somehow, and just generally like things associated with the past coming up against things associated with the future, or like what is newly emerging, especially in the context of truth and information that changes the context of our understanding of like our entire lives or our general reality, dismantling the control that those past beliefs had over the future as it's emerging right now. This really is about like shaking us ultimately like out of the control of limiting systems or limiting ideas or limiting thoughts and beliefs of the past, as we are ushered forth into these days and weeks and months and years that are bridging us into the age of Aquarius and shifting the frequency of the planet. We've got to, you know, those things have to fade away as we move and transition into this new energy, and this is an aspect that is ultimately going to lead to that. But like I said, also it is stifling, you know, it is on one hand helping us to exit the old energy, but it's also not making it super easy for us to move forward into the new energy also. So people are going to be coming up against limitations with this week, especially as we get to the midpoint of this week. But these are just the general themes right now all week that we're dealing with, coming up against these limitations within ourselves that have kept us enmeshed in like our old lives, or our old beliefs, or our old worlds, or our old energetic reality, as that is working to unravel itself. And it's really in kind of like the final days of energetic dominance right now. This week is forcing us to break out of our old molds of understanding and expand our purview of what is possible, even in the midst of what might appear to be, as I said, like failure or setbacks or crisis, all of which could be seemingly very apparent as we move through the energy this week. Definitely a red flag week. Energy is very tense. Energy is very hostile. Again, like I said, people are about at their breaking point. A lot of people are going to be losing it. We're talking about this explosive energy in the sign of Gemini. Like people are literally squaring Saturn and Pisces. There could be some serious like spirals out of control going on, like people just literally losing their mind, breaks from reality, unable to like compute kind of with the way that this energy is hitting the psyche, because it really is like, you know, it's this very amplified and supercharged up mental energy. Mars and Jupiter, huge energy in the sign of Gemini, in the sign of the mind. And then we hit it up against the square Saturn. There could be drug issues too. A lot of people could be on some like real weird drugs, doing some real weird things, because we're talking about Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces. Like trying to escape reality, but having these like really crazy reactions. Don't be surprised if you see a lot of like viral clips online of people just totally spazzing out this week. they're going to be going off, I think. Pressure from authority, or also lack of authority. This could also be people just spiraling because there is no, because of the breakdown perhaps in like the control systems or the authority, or they could be looking for some type of structure and it's just like not there, and then spiraling out of control as a result of that. And I'm saying that because Saturn is retrograde in the sign of Pisces. Saturn is form, Saturn is structure, Saturn is control, Saturn is discipline. Like there's very, very little self-discipline here. And that is why, you guys, if you don't know what to do with yourself in this energy, if you feel like you're just gonna like break out of your skin, like jump, you just like don't know how to like release the energy, or like what to do, or you feel like you're just like about to explode or whatever, trying to consciously cultivate a sense of self-discipline to do productive activities that are like making our lives easier somehow. This is energy where you will be, it will most likely work out real well if you put your time and energy into like facilitating your own processes, like making your own systems for getting things done better, like being productive in a way that actually is removing the frustrations and the irritations from like the little blockages throughout your life. You know what I mean? Like even if it means, you know, reorganizing your house in a way that just like makes your day-to-day flow easier. You don't have to walk around that cabinet that you bump into every time you turn the corner, or, you know, fixing small things that just cause like these little interferences that are like sources of frustrations and irritations just throughout your day, like small ways, you know, just like making the small repairs, making the small fixes, doing the things that make life more frustrating for us, like finding solutions to that type of problems. That is the best way that you can set yourself up for success moving forward. And also expanding your skill set, learning as much as you can, surrendering the burden, cultivating your faith, you know, with a higher power, like allowing your vision to still be pristine despite whatever criticism or judgment or seeming failure you're encountering right now. That's just the vibe. That's just the way the energy is coming through this week. And there's likely to be, you're likely to be feeling the pressure also. Pressure from authority, or a sense of overwhelm coming through. Lots of work or responsibility that could be consuming all of our energy as well. That's another way that this could go. If you're not kind of just like spinning your wheels, not knowing what to do with yourself, it could be manifesting in terms of just having so much to do that you can't even think, you know what I mean? Like that type of thing as well, and just feeling very overburdened by that. But I generally would not expect people to be on their best behavior or to be in the best mood this week. I mean, obviously, I feel like I've kind of indicated that so far, but complaints, criticism, harsh judgment, and verbal attacks, that is, to me, what we're kind of looking at. Mars square Saturn, this can be kind of a brutal, ruthless energy, especially in the sign of Gemini. That's what we're saying and what's coming out of our mouth. Jupiter is helping to an extent. You know, Jupiter is the great benefic. Generally, when Jupiter is there, this makes things better, like makes things less harsh, like softens it, but Jupiter also expands everything. So just as much as Jupiter could perhaps be like helping to make things a bit less volatile and ruthless and like violent perhaps, also it is expanding the potential for the ignition of passions and anger, or just you know, this unbridled desire to, or passion to, fervor to move forward with something. So just be aware of and watch out for stuff like that. If if battles are playing out right now, also, as I said, you know, that younger and the older version of things, like it's pretty clear in the way that energy is presenting right now who is going to be successful in terms of those two sides that are coming at it, you know, the warrior and the general, the master and the apprentice, father-son type of energy. This is definitely, the outcome here is definitely the transition of power going on to the younger generation of things. It's extremely evident. We've got Saturn retrograding in the sign of Pisces. That's like the old authority being on the very last leg, and really the dissolving control associated with authority and control systems from the past. That's Saturn retrograding in the sign of Pisces. And then we're talking about, on the other hand, and that's the older energy, right? And then we're talking on the other hand, Mars, that's the youthful energy with Jupiter Jupiter, that's success, that's good luck, that's good fortune, that's growth, that's exponential growth. And then also, and we'll talk about this more in the video for Wednesday, because obviously this is going to be the entire theme of our Wednesday video. This is the theme of our week. We're getting our little first taste here. This is our appetizer. We will have our entree on Wednesday, and then we will finish the week with our dessert on Friday in terms of the Mars, Jupiter, square Saturn conjunction and everything that we're talking about it. But the moon, just so you guys know, obviously it will be transiting Sagittarius, coming actually on Wednesday into exact opposition with Mars and Jupiter in Gemini. This is ironic because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, right? And Jupiter is with Mars. And when we have this lineup, which only happens once every 2 years, way longer, I need to even look at the calculations. It's a very long period of time between Jupiter and Mars coming into a conjunction in the same sign again. So I don't know how long that cycle is. I need to look into that. But happening with the square to Saturn, and of course the moon in exact opposition from Sagittarius, you know, in terms of who's winning the battle between the old and the young, Saturn, the control systems, this is falling away. This is what is releasing and relinquishing control. And then we've got Mars with Jupiter. This is victory, this is success, this is growth. And the moon in the sign of Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, that is reflecting this back as well. So it's very obvious, like the warrior spirit wins here over the dying empire. There's no question about that in the way that it's coming through. The only question is, like, how brutal is the battle going to be as it plays out, and what are the consequences of that going to be in terms of how we do end up moving forward. Okay, so again, even the inner battle going on within us to mature or overcome aspects of our lower nature could be presenting with this. And that is also, listen to this. The degree, this is mind-blowing to me. You're talking about mind-blowing. There's going to be a lot of mind-blowing things that come over this period of time. The Sabian symbols are all over it too. The symbolism is so on point in terms of describing the aspects themselves. But the degree, and we'll talk about this more on Wednesday, I just can't keep it to myself anymore because it's so, I mean, okay, you'll know when I say it. The degree where this is happening at 17 degrees of Gemini, where Mars and Jupiter come into the conjunction, that Sabian symbol is the head of a robust youth. It changes into that of a mature thinker. And we're talking about this conjunction happening the sign of Gemini with Mars, the robust youth, coming into an almost exact square to Saturn. Saturn, this is the energy that causes us to mature. So that's why I was saying at the beginning, like, whatever we're finding out, whatever we're overcoming, whatever conflict that we've got going on, whatever battle's underway, like, the outcome of this is going to be this new energy, the transition of power to the new energy, or to that new idea, or to the new momentum, but it's going to be in a more refined, mature, like, capable way for, like, doing things right and making sure that however, like, everything falls at the end of the day, it's in the perfect way so that we can build the new foundations for the new paradigm that is coming in right now. So this really is an information war at the end of the day when we boil it all down over what ideas and what beliefs will govern our reality. And our reality is a result of our thoughts and our perceptions and our beliefs. So this really is the battle that defines the ages in terms of how our belief systems are going to be defining our reality moving forth into this new paradigm that is incoming now. We are, again, struggling to mature and to overcome our lower natures here that have held us in a distorted perspective that has limited our growth up until this point of time. And the struggle of breaking through the soil to the next phase is where we're at and what is represented here. So all of that, you guys, now more specifically, like, if we're going to talk about Monday energy in and of itself, Monday we have our first quarter square moon. Since our new moon in Leo, the moon in Scorpio will be squaring the sun in the sign of Leo, and then will form an opposition to Uranus. So right off the bat, as we start the week on Monday, before this energy even comes exact, there could be some unexpected changes or events going on, feeling a bit unsettled, tension and anxiety definitely just sort of like in the air. And I'm telling you, this is not the week to mess with people, leave people alone, mind your own business. You know, if you feel like you can't contain the energy, do something physically active or work on something, again, that is like associated with personal development, personal growth, or is facilitating your ability to move through your own life in a way that is less frustrating and like you have less resistance to whatever it is you're trying to get done. If you need to control something, if you need to, oh, another thing about this energy that I wanted to say as well, in terms of like not being a vessel for this energy, this is also like the perfect type of energy in the perfect week where, you know, if you need to go off on somebody, do it, right? But don't send the message. Type up the email, write the text, make a voice recording and record it and listen to it back, you know, write a letter, get it off your chest, say what you need to say, but do not send it. Don't hit the send button, don't put it in the mail, don't post it to anything, just let it be like a psychic release, okay? That you are communicating this, that you are getting it off your chest, that you are speaking your mind, that you are saying what needs to be said. You know, even like if you need to go yell into a pillow or go smash something with a bat that is not doing any damage or destruction to anything important or whatever, like that's the way that you want to handle it. We want to handle maybe like the rage or whatever needs to come out in a way that is not going to be, number one, self-destructive, because with a lot of Mars energy going on, especially square Saturn, a lot of the eruptions and a lot of the reactions and the action right now, it's going to have quite a self-destructive blowback, even though at the time with Jupiter there, we're probably going to feel quite self-righteous. That's another thing. These super overinflated egos, people feeling very self-aggrandized, very entitled, very self-righteous in terms of their beliefs, very know-it-all energy also coming up perhaps against some type of like karmic smackdown or authority figure that like puts them in their place or something like that. So that is also the way that, another way rather, that this energy could be presenting itself. But we don't want to hold it inside, but we also don't want to act in ways where we're just flying off the handle, emotionally reacting to stuff that blows back and like shooting ourselves in the foot and like ending up actually sabotaging ourselves, where if we just like didn't say that thing or didn't go off on that person, things would have actually worked out in our favor in like a much better way, okay? This energy is, we're talking about a square between Mars and Jupiter and Saturn. This energy is bringing our lessons. A lot of people are going to be making mistakes right now because there are, again, lessons that need to be learned to ensure that mistakes are not made in the future, so that the things that we're working on can be done right and we're not going to make these mistakes again. But Mercury's retrograde too. Mistakes, corrections, like people rushing forward and then hitting a wall and having to backtrack and like going through the whole process. Like we can save ourselves a lot of frustration, a lot of time, resources, money, energy if we slow down, if we, you know, give ourselves a second and really actively choose to make wise, informed, strategic, like well thought out choices and decisions and moves right now. You want to use this energy for the way that it's, you know, in the gold star A+ way that it's meant to be used. If you want to reap the juice out of this particular energy, that's a very tricky energy right now. Use the wisdom that you have gained from experience in the past in each and every move you make, and every word that comes out of your mouth, and every, you know, check you sign, and every like thing that you're doing right now. Do it from a place of wisdom through experience. Slow and steady wins the race, you know. Like we want to be very careful, very cautious, very deliberate and refined in our actions and our contributions to our lives and the conversations going on right now. Again, master builder energy, Jupiter there, like ultimate success. Jupiter is wisdom, right? The bigger picture, truth. We need to keep the bigger picture in mind. We need to not like sabotage ourselves in the moment because we fly off the handle on some fit of rage about something that somebody said to us that like, bruised our ego or something like that, and like we've got to show them, but in the meanwhile we're losing total vision of the bigger picture, focusing so narrowly on whatever, you know, we feel like someone did to us or said to us or whatever that we need to respond to, that we're ending up setting ourselves back in terms of where we're actually trying to get to here. We don't need to do that. We can reel it back in, you know what I mean? We can choose to be self-disciplined. We can choose to be deliberate. We can choose to be, we can choose wisdom over impulse, okay? And if we do, we're not, I mean, and you know, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. This is just, we're going to be doing our best, okay? We're all going to be doing our best. It's probably going to be difficult. This is a test period, all right? But that is the test. And I'm telling you, if you are able to maneuver through your reality like that at this point in time, you will pass the test and you will get to the other side, and things will get bigger, faster, I think, than, you know, perhaps then there will be a period of growth that follows after this. Like the delayed gratification will probably be maybe better than you had originally even expected or anticipated. I don't know, but that just seems to be the way that this particular set of experiences and energies that they are stemming from is indicating right now. So take action, right, to reorganize your life in a more mature, efficient, professional, and effective way. Just realize also, I think I said this earlier, but I'm seeing it in my notes right now, business deals, negotiations, like any type of trying to get on the same page with somebody to make something happen right now is going to be a struggle, like red tape, holdups, lots of issues also with authority, with regulations, with rules, stuff like that. So we already know that's going on, and if we are blocked and can't move forward, and it's just driving us crazy in one particular area of our lives, then perhaps shifting our focus and addressing maybe some of the frustrations or the hangups or the little issues in other areas of our lives could help to move some energy a little bit and streamline things, make things a little bit like less frustrating as we just move through this time. Learn new things that enhance and promote your skill sets. Be verbally and physically expressive in ways that do not cause damage to ourselves or others, that are not self-sabotaging and that are not doing any harm to anybody else as well. That's why I was saying, like, so much interference going on out there. Like, non-interference is probably, you know, what we should personally be striving for. However, if you need to get something off your chest, don't hold it inside. Get it out, but don't pull the trigger. Like, don't do the thing with it that could have some type of a detrimental impact, okay? If you're blocked in one area of your life, do something productive or learn something in another area. Don't force things to bend right now. They will break. This is not a super flexible energy. Even though we're talking about mutable signs, it's also like, this is a square to Saturn. Saturn is rigid. Saturn, you know, this is just not, people are not, they're at their breaking point. Like I said, like, people are not going to be super wanting to just go with the flow and adapt to things right now, but we're going to have to, and we're going to be also, I've been saying this as well, I've been talking about it, we are going to be leaving some things and some people behind as we move into September. And I think this week and next week and whatever transpires as a result of these aspects that we have going on, I think that these things that are upcoming now are going to play a very big role in determining what it is that we are going to be saying good riddance to, cutting ties with, and moving on from as we do move into the fall. Big shows are probably going to be put on this week and over this actually next several days, with sort of like the motive actually of tapping energy, tapping collective energy, and using it to create or to streamline some type of, manifest some type of outcome. Do not allow your mind or your energy to be co-opted or programmed by other people's emotions or other people's messaging or other people's projections over this period of time that motivates you to take some type of reckless or impulsive action that, again, is not well thought through, is not strategic, and is actually something that is working against your greater overall bigger picture right here, okay? Do not rush into action. Slow, deliberate, wise choices, decisions, words, actions, and reactions are going to have the most successful outcomes here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say about the astrology as a whole as we open our week this week. It is a little all over the place. It is kind of frazzled. You know, people are probably on one, okay? And I want to talk about the Sabian symbols also. I told you that the Sabian symbols were very on point in their expressions of the energy coming through as we've got these transits going on. I literally want to read like several Sabian symbols for our planetary placements on Monday because they're really, I feel like, explaining things to us. The position of the sun on Monday is at 21 Leo. That Sabian symbol is intoxicated chickens dizzily flapping their wings trying to fly. We have the position of the earth on Monday at 21 Aquarius. A woman disappointed and disillusioned courageously faces a seemingly empty future. Okay, we've got Mercury at 2 degrees of Virgo retrograde on Monday. A large white cross dominates the landscape. We have Venus at 10 degrees of Virgo, 2 heads looking out and beyond the shadows. We have Mars at 16 degrees of Gemini, a woman activist on a platform in an emotional speech dramatizes her cause. Look out for that one. Women, like everyone, okay, everyone, but especially I would expect the feminine energy, and it's for a lot of reasons. I've been talking about the trials and tribulations of the Venetian energy a lot over this past, like, I'd say 6 months or so. I'm going to be talking about it a lot more as we move into September. But the concept of like female energy on a platform in an emotional speech, dramatizing a cause like verbatim, this could be a very prominent theme that comes through right now. And again, we don't want to allow ourselves to necessarily be motivated to act through anyone really else's call to action right now if it's not coming from something that like we know is authentic and true and right within us. Okay, so there's that. We also have Jupiter at 17 degrees of Gemini, and this is where our conjunction is going to be. I already read this symbol. We're going to be talking about it more this week. The head of a robust youth changes into that of a mature thinker. I mean, there you go right there. And Saturn at 18 degrees of Pisces. This is where Saturn will be when Mars and Jupiter both come into the exact square this week. In a huge tent, a famous revivalist conducts his meeting with a spectacular performance. So that is like the other side of the Mars energy to me in terms of the symbolism. Isn't that weird? That's like, there's like a feminine version of this energy and a masculine version of this energy, both like inspiring people or firing people up from their own perspective in terms of, you know, what their thoughts and beliefs are to perhaps operate some type of way. So very, very interesting, especially considering that's Mars and Saturn right now. And then lastly, the position of Uranus right now as well, a woman pursued by mature romance. So we've literally, and there's the Venus energy again. So we've literally, with Uranus and Taurus, and the word mature twice in our planetary positioning for Monday. We've got the head of a robust youth changes into that of a mature thinker, and we've got a woman pursued by mature romance. So there's definitely something here about, and then the revivalist and the conducting the meeting and the woman activist on the platform and the intoxicated chickens dizzily flapping around and the woman disillusioned and disappointed courageously facing the seemingly empty future. Do what you will with that symbolism, but to me, when I'm looking at that and I'm looking at the energy that's going on right now as well, like that symbolism is very, very descriptive of a lot of the themes that are playing out energetically here as well. So we don't want to be the drunk chickens this week, you guys. A lot of people are going to be drunk chickens dizzily flapping their wings around trying to fly. We want to be the courageous woman man, individual, the mature thinker. Even though we might be facing something that is seemingly empty or dire or despair or disappointing or something, we need to do so with courage and with the faith, right? Mercury at the large white cross dominating the landscape. Like, we need to maintain our vision. We need to maintain our faith. There's a very polarized environment right now. The Venus energy, two heads looking out and behind the shadows, right? Very like contrasting situations. We're talking about Saturn in the sign of Pisces squaring Mars and Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. And then of course we're gonna have the moon there in opposition T-square, almost exactly perfectly set up on Wednesday as well. So in a lot of ways, I mean, it's clearly time to grow up somehow, or at least in terms of our perspective and the ways that we are looking at things or viewing our own role in our own unfolding reality. I don't know, you guys, so much. There's definitely like a huge distortion in the informational field as well. Where, like I was saying earlier, communication blockages. Do not be surprised if there are like down internet, like down banking, like down like blocks to communication for sure, like maybe in some significant ways, or as a result there could be like conflicts or fights or like wars going on that cause disruptions in communications or in financial stuff, transactions. And I would not be surprised at all this week if there are some major like breakouts of wars or battles, or it could also be very like Cold War type of thing, like threatening, like verbal, not cold, you know, it's hard to think of anything really cold when we've got Mars and Jupiter in a conjunction, but Saturn is there, and Saturn is also chills things to the bone. So I don't know, guys, but I do think that, you know, we're probably going to see some things coming to a head. I think that we can say that, and interference is definitely probably going to be a general theme right now. And we're going to do our best to make the most of this energy and to use it in a way that facilitates our future success, because in our attainment of self-mastery, because at the end of the day, that is what it wants from us, and that is how we play our role in reflecting the higher octaves of this energy now. So, all right, I'm going to stop going on and on and on about astrology right now. Let's talk about the tarot for a minute. It's so funny. The tarot message is literally like saying the exact same thing today. We've got the Five of Swords in reverse. Avoid the conflict. Don't get involved. Drop your weapons and go the other way. Or don't drop your weapons, but maybe go the other way if you feel like you're approaching somewhere that is getting a little bit heated. We've literally got the Five of Swords in reverse. So don't get involved. If you're not involved, or if you don't have to be involved, or if there's another time that you can maybe get involved or say what needs to be said, but the Five of Swords, obviously the swords, this is air energy, this is communication, this is conflict, verbal conflict, fights, arguments, people stealing power struggles, lots of power struggles, lots of clashes of will going on out there. Don't get involved. We also we also had 3 cards in reverse, and all of them are indicating a perceived sense of failure, or things not developing, things not growing, things feeling like they're crumbling, things just, you know, we've got on the back of the deck, we had the Six of Wands in reverse. This is a victory card of like being on our high horse. A lot of people might be getting knocked off their high horse moving through the week, feeling, again, a sense of like maybe failure or discouragement or loss, like in terms of like winning and losing, like victories and losses, you know what I mean? Feeling like they're just not on top of their game somehow. And then we also had the Ace of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles, therefore that whole progression of growth in reverse. This is not to me that we are not successful. This is not to me that things are not working in our favor. It's just that right now the path to growth is not available. Like the Ace of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, that's the new opportunities, that's the new beginnings, that's the new like things in the material world that we are trying to birth and manifest and bring into fruition right now. It's the projects, and it's, you know, the creative pursuits, and it's the opportunities. And the Ten of Pentacles, this is what the Ace of Pentacles ultimately progresses into. This is what that opportunity or that new beginning or that seed that we planted blossoms and grows into at its like highest, fullest potential. When these are both in reverse, this is saying like we don't feel successful in like the seeds that we planted growing into anything, or whatever we're working on, like it feels like it's not going right, or it feels like it's not going well, or it could feel like a failure, and the thing, and it could be causing like this inner conflict, right, as well. Or it could be causing, also, a lot of people are going to be wanting to project that energy outwards. Like they're not going to be able to deal with the sense of disappointment or the frustration or the tension, and they're going to want to get it out. So how do people that are generally operating out of an unconscious, frame of mind, or just based in unconscious responses to things, like how do they usually react when something is bothering them inside? They usually put it onto somebody else so that they have a reason to like get that energy out and express it outwards, but they're not directing it themselves. So a lot of people, and that's projection. So a lot of people are going to be projecting. Don't be surprised if you find yourself getting accused of like what other people have done and what other people are doing, and they're like blaming it on you and putting the blame on you and saying that you're doing that, when it's like obviously evidently clear that that's actually just what they're doing, but they can't deal with that and they got to blame somebody for it, so they're going to blame you even if you have nothing to do with it. Don't take it personally. That's another thing. Like, do not allow people's insanity to impact your view of yourself or you personally. Constructive criticism, if there's constructive criticism that you are receiving right now, absolutely use it, take it, process it, build yourself up with it. This is about taking us on a path to self-mastery. We are in a phase of personal growth and development, and there could be some harsh truths or some, important lessons or some harsh criticism right now that we actually need in order to set us on a better path to success moving forward. But if it's not constructive criticism, if it's not about you, if it's not productive, if it's not beneficial, and if it's clearly coming from somebody who is mentally unstable or projecting or has their own issues that they can't deal with, and so they're making it your problem, it literally, like, do not attach to that. Let them say what they have to say. I'm sorry you feel that way, and keep it moving, okay? Because there's literally no, like, people are not going to be able to handle things, and there is no reason to put yourself through this whole mental and emotional distortion issue based on somebody else's irrational explosion all over you. So keep that in mind, keep it in your pocket, and pull it out if you find yourself coming up against this type of scenario going throughout the course of your week. So you guys, that's what I'm going to say about the tarot. Let's get one more card now. Synchronicity card. God, Spirit, Universe, what is one final piece of advice we need? What do you want us to know? What will benefit us to keep in mind as we do move through this week? And it says, you guys, change your thoughts. Couldn't be more entirely appropriate for these particular aspects coming through. And it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent it. Isaiah 55:11. So interesting. I was just talking about planting seeds. Whatever seed you plant will come back to you in its fruit. If you plant a bitter seed, you will get a bitter fruit. Sweetness will beget sweetness. Likewise, flavor your thoughts and speech with sweetness, that you may dwell in a sweet life. Holding to your present thoughts will bring you unhappiness. This is reminding me of the whole concept right now of keeping our eye on the prize, maintaining the bigger vision, even though, somebody might be like stepping on our toe right now and might be really bothering us. Like, is it worth like upsetting our whole plan just to go off about that like one little thing that isn't necessarily gonna bother us that much if we just deal with it, but if we like take it to the next level, could like capsize our entire ship, you know what I mean? And this is literally saying, like, flavor your thoughts with sweetness. Like, pay attention to what you're cultivating, pay attention to what your true vision is, pay attention to the bigger picture. Is this in alignment with this? Is this reaction in alignment with what I really want to grow? Or is this just something that, I am being tested by in this moment to see how I'll react and to see if I'll spiral out of control and need to go through more lessons and karmic blowback in order to get back on the path of planting the seed properly, So quite appropriate, I would say. Change your thoughts. That is our advice, and I feel like probably the thing that will help us most as we're moving through this energy. So that's what I'm going to say, you guys. Message from the stars, message from the cards, big energy week. And I hope you guys liked the video. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think they would also enjoy this type of astrology content. Leave me comments, you guys. I am so grateful for your presence. I really appreciate knowing what's going on with you. Your added value to my channel through your comments is very significant to me in more ways than you can imagine. I am very grateful to you for being here. And if you are having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a Facebook group where I post images of that linked in my description box below. Come back with me on Wednesday, you guys. I will be here and you know what we're going to be talking about. And we're going to be talking all about it. And we've got Mars and we've got Jupiter and we've got Saturn and we've got a Sagittarius moon in exact opposition that is coming in on Wednesday. So that will be the tea that we are spilling on Wednesday, and I will be here to pour it. So you should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you next time for tea time, you guys. And until then, have a very beautiful start to your week, and I will see you next time. Bye.